Hey guys, so I wanted to do a really quick, get ready with me chit chat before I start my workday. And I've had a lot of thoughts on my mind, and I haven't been doing great as of late. And I haven't uploaded a video in the last 2 weeks or so, obviously because of life, but well, recently I did try filming a video and it was like a graphic design related video. I was doing like a fun little like poster project and it was meant to be fun, but I ended up just not enjoying the process at all. I hated it, and I ended up scrapping that video. And that happened a few days ago on Friday, and I felt so frustrated with myself that I was like, all right, I'm really stressed, I'm not feeling great, let me clean my room. And it wasn't like a surface level clean where I'm kind of like organizing everything I see and like wiping down the table surfaces. Like, no, like I was going through my bookshelf, like I took everything out, I was sorting through my shit and everything. And one of the things I find was this zine that I made during COVID. This was before I graduated high school. Like, this was right when the pandemic started, and I just felt like really inspired to like do a bunch of like illustrations of food and kind of make my own like recipe zine in a way. That oil tteokbokki one is really, oh, I'm proud of myself for that. So yeah, that unlocked like a core memory for me. And it is kind of janky looking because I had to like, I didn't have a double-sided printer, so I had to like glue like both sides together and fold it and everything, which is why like it's as thick as it is. And even though it's not the best quality, the fact that I made a zine, the fact that I even did this at all and was this ambitious, but I followed through on this fun little project was like that's impressive in and of itself. And just thinking back to like my high school self, I was like mourning her. Like, I missed her, and I missed having that level of energy, that passion, that, you know, determination and ambition that like whenever I would have an idea pop up in my head, like I would do anything to get that idea out of my brain and onto paper, onto canvas, onto book. Like, I did a lot in high school, and like I don't want to be that person and say that like I peaked in high school, but I'm gonna be honest, like I kind of peaked at high school. But yeah, as a result of finding that zine, I feel like I've just been going through one of these like cyclical existential crises, like an existential crisis that I have like every year or so regarding like creativity, art, like what does it mean to be an artist? What does it mean to be creative? And I feel like I'm kind of back to square one, and I've kind of reverted back to like my childhood self, or even not just my childhood self, but like the self that I was in between junior and senior year of high school, which is fitting because I'm spending my summer in between junior year of college and senior year of college, and it doesn't feel great. Like I don't want to feel this kind of like emotion where I feel like I'm a failure and I feel absolutely like helpless, like wasted potential, and kind of learning that you know, this time that I spent in college wasn't everything that I wanted it to be or I hoped it to be. And this isn't to say that I regret my college experience at all. Like, I enjoy my major and I'm really glad that I chose to be a digital design major, a graphic design major essentially. And like, I do not regret my college experience at all. Being a design major in general like has helped me be more well-rounded as a creative and as an artist, and especially at CU Denver at least, like the program really focuses on like commercial art and like how to do business, the importance of like marketing and branding and, you know, all the things that people in the real world want. I managed to land like 2 internships, which is insane. The stuff that I have now and the things that I'm able to do now is everything that high school me wanted, and yet I'm yearning for high school me again. Isn't that weird? Like, isn't that ironic? And I think going back to my frustrations over this weekend, like, it's kind of made me rethink over whether I want to be a designer long term. And this isn't to say that I'm considering like quitting or anything, because I enjoy being a designer. Like, I enjoy my internship. Like, I love, you know, being able to like experiment and do these like really cool like article banners and graphics, and just being a part of like you know, the media space. I don't know, a weird part of me feels like me going to school and like spending this much time in school and this much effort into I guess preparing and starting to build my graphic design career is in a way like me trying to avoid what I really want to do and what my heart yearns to do. And one of that was illustration and doing more traditional art. I'd say that with graphic design, at least like where I've been and the ways in which like I've worked like as a designer, it's very, you know, commercial. At my previous internship, it was a very, very corporate environment. Thankfully this time it's a smaller company, so it's not as corporate, which I enjoy a lot more, thankfully. So I'm not like saying that I suddenly like hate graphic design or something like that. Like, that's not what I'm saying, but I feel like in an effort to commercialize my work and make it very like friendly to capitalists and media outlets, and just kind of overall like commodifying my work in a way that's like suitable for corporate companies. A part of me feels worried that like I've lost myself in that, and that because like I've kind of gone like a complete, you know, 180 from doing more like traditional like illustration fine art in high school to doing like very commercial work in college. It's like I'm kind of missing like the personal aspect of it, and it's why I feel so like burnt out and not completely fulfilled doing graphic design, because I haven't had time to make my own personal work. You know, even within graphic design, like I've done passion projects, but it never truly felt as personal to me as illustration. And I feel like that's just what I want to get back into, is doing illustration work. And I feel like it's so hard to do so when you don't really have an audience. Like, I was watching Annabelle Gao's video yesterday, and it was her own, like, again, sort of like this video where she did like a chit chat get ready with me, but she was kind of reflecting on her experiences like as a content creator of about 10 years. Like, she was doing YouTube for quite a while, and this video was uploaded like almost a year ago. It was like the beginning of August 2022. But one of the things that she mentioned in that really like stood out to me was thinking about like your values and your true intentions behind starting a YouTube channel or like doing content in the first place. And she mentioned that, you know, if you think about like what your ideas of success are, it's like if you take off the skin and get into like the real meat and bones of it all, it has to do with external validation. This part of your inner child or your childhood self that yearns for validation, that wants attention, to be seen, to be heard, to feel connected. And that like hit me. Like I felt really called out because that, you know, ultimately that is why I wanted to start a YouTube channel. And mind you, this isn't my first go around. Like the videos that I've been uploading since March, this isn't my first go around with YouTube. I wanted to be like a YouTuber slash content creator since I was like in middle school, like since I was 12. And then by high school, you know, I managed to like get the courage to try it for the first time. And I was very inconsistent. Like I definitely just did things for fun, and it was a lot of like makeup stuff, but also like some food videos, and overall just like whatever I was consuming at the time, like I would try and replicate. And I feel like I'm even, you know, kind of doing that now. But since, you know, this weekend, I've felt very frustrated with that, and I took a step back and I started like reevaluating myself and thinking like, okay, you want to be a YouTuber, you want to do content creation, and, you know, I would say that I was doing it for fun and for shits and giggles, but really I am doing it for external validation, and I am doing it because I want to have an online community to connect to, because I grew up as a very lonely child, and if I would ever like have any friends, they were just like acquaintances, so like classmates from school or like kids that my grandma would babysit, and like they'll come over to our house and I would just play with them just because like they were there. But it was the internet that kind of gave me solace during those times. And, you know, I learned kind of how to be alone towards like, you know, my teenage years. I was alone for a lot of like middle school and high school, but I think high school was when I started experiencing a lot of like depression and anxiety over me being aware of how extremely lonely I was. And even then, like I still try to fall back on the things that I knew would bring me joy. So things like video games, reading books, listening to music, watching YouTube. And, you know, I felt like I could be a part of that, and I felt like I had something of value to bring, and I still do. But yeah, I feel like I'm all over the place. What time is it? I have 5 minutes until I have to start work, so I need to figure out how to wrap this up. But yeah, thinking about how I want to do content creation now that I've been, for the most part, like posting consistently, I still feel like I'm doing it out of desperation, and I feel like I'm doing it out of like a desire to attract any audience. Of course, you know, I still want to be mindful about that. Like I don't want to like hop on a trend or like, I don't know, insert myself in a space where I know that I'm like not gonna provide anything of value, which is why I kind of stick to topics that I genuinely am passionate in, like video games. But thinking about it now and like kind of constantly seeing myself constantly like experiment with different styles, it's like I feel like I'm not truly being my most genuine self. Like I'm not being as authentic as I want to be, and every single time that I sit down to record a video, I feel like I'm putting on this like persona and this very like idealized, perfected version of myself. But the reality is that I'm a 21-year-old college student who still has to figure out a lot in her life. And if I don't show up as my most real, most authentic self, it's like, what was the point of doing all this in the first place? Like, it's not, to quote Annabelle, like towards the end of that video that I just mentioned, she was talking about how like, oh, like I want to live this like very slow paced style. I want it to be more relaxed. But if I just go ahead and try and like hop on trends and like make these very fast paced videos and pump out a bunch of content like day after day, week after week, then it's like, that doesn't make sense because you are not in alignment with yourself. So that was again like another big takeaway I got from that video. For those of you who have subscribed to me because of my video game videos, that was a lot of these. I am gonna pivot more into personal content, so more lifestyle stuff, so things like day in the life vlogs, and I did mention that I want to do more like art stuff, like illustration and things like that. So I'm gonna move towards those videos. That isn't to say that like I'm getting rid of video game content completely, but yeah, I think for now I'm just gonna start making videos that I know that I'm gonna be proud of, but aren't gonna, make me sell my soul to create and pump out, if that makes any sense. And especially now that I kind of have my own like home office space situation, like this whole entire like office space, this used to be my dad's, and it used to be mine before it was my dad's, but I don't know, just like being able to take the space back and kind of include my own stuff in it. Like I got this like Yoshitaka Amano print months ago. Like it was just sitting in its tube for months, and just this weekend like I went to Michael's and I was like, I need to get a frame, and I got a frame, I put it in, and it looks beautiful. And even here, like with all the trophies that you see here, those were from high school when I did speech and debate. And when my family and I were like getting together to like organize this whole space and like bring stuff together to decorate, I think it was my aunt who went to the living room to grab these trophies, which were like hiding, at the bottom of like a TV stand. And she was like, she just put the trophies there, on display to be like, hey, Kathy, like you did that. This was all you. You should be proud of yourself. You should display your hard work. And I don't know, it's a shame that I feel like I don't give myself enough credit, because I have friends and family who believe in me and are proud of me for what I've done and what I've been trying to do essentially like a kind of my whole life. And here I am just kind of like beating myself over for not having things like perfect or things the way I want it to work out. And it's like, why should I be? Like, I am enough. Like, I am capable of giving myself that validation, and I'm capable of accepting that validation from others. So I don't know, just a lot of work that needs to be done, like with myself. Okay, I'm gonna finish my makeup really quick, and then I'm gonna hop on to work. Hi guys. So I just got back from the library and I thought going there was such a good decision. I haven't made an animation in a while, so I think it was a good idea to go to the library with my iPad and just doodle something, sketch something, and I've been really inspired by like doodle bombs lately. It's basically this thing where you take an image from, it's usually like a magazine cover or like a fashion editorial photo, and you just draw a bunch of stuff on it, and I turned it into a little bit like an animation, and yeah, I feel a lot better now than I did like over this past weekend, now that I'm like taking the time out of my day to do some illustration stuff and some more, I guess, art that's in line with what I want to do. I've been going through it, and I think my plan for later tonight is to go on Amazon and get The Artist's Way, and I feel like I want to go on that journey as well and kind of get into the root of having like these art blocks and having like an existential crisis like every once in a while about art and what the heck it means to be an artist. But yeah, thank you guys for coming along with me on this day, and I've been going through a lot, but I know that I'm capable of getting out of it. So I will see you guys next week. Bye.